Why, hello everyone, welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV on PlayFrame. We are still in Slitherbough, learning about the Knights Blessed, but Y'shtola has an announcement for us. We've been keeping her waiting for like 2 days at this point, and I think we're probably testing the limits of her patience. So, Y'shtola seems quite pleased with herself, but whether she has good or bad news to share remains to be seen. Let me begin by first explaining the origins of this tablet. I initially believed it might detail the history of the Church of the First Light. Much to my surprise, it dates back to the end of the Ronkan Empire and was likely written under the direction of the reigning ruler. It was a time of strife and unceasing war with neighboring nations. With each passing day, they yielded more and more territory to their enemies. In their desperation, petitions for aid were sent out to their allies. This was one such petition. And do you think this ancient petition will somehow help us get into Ixmaya? Indeed we do. For etched into this tablet is a method by which one may prove themselves an ally of the Ronkan Empire. Provided we are able to decipher said instructions, we may entreat the ruin's protectors to grant us safe passage. The problem, however, is I presently lack the resources to decipher them in their entirety. We have but one recourse. There exists a stone monument inscribed with ancient Ronkan text and translations into a more modern dialect which came into use after the fall of the Empire. I am confident it will suit our purposes. Where can we find this monument? Here in Sitia, quite close to Slitherbough, in fact. The good news ends there, however, for it is in the possession of a rather radical faction of Dark worshippers, the Children of the Everlasting Dark. If I am to study the monument, I must infiltrate their encampment. I have no intention of taking longer than absolutely necessary, but I will nevertheless require time to transcribe the text I need. To ensure that I'll have enough, I am afraid I must ask you and Thancred to assist me. Count me in. And before you even ask, the answer's no. If we're to remain unseen, our group must be as small as possible. All right. I'll stay here until you return. We won't be long. If anything should happen, you keep her safe. Then let us convene outside, to the west of Slitherbough, where the path diverges. Right behind you. Well, you two have fun, hanging out. For my part, I shall make all possible preparations that Y'shtola may begin translating the tablet upon her return. Take care, Derman. Same to you. Don't be too bored while I'm gone. But also not too interesting. Don't do anything too interesting off camera. As a general rule, I had no right to involve you in our troubles. Still, without your help, today's service would not have been possible. The Knights Blessed are in your debt. Very happy to be of service. And I would stay to chat longer, but I am not willing to test Y'shtola's patience any further today. Back into the woods. Hey gang, where are we going? This is Claude, by the way. It's my new mount. All set. The encampment we seek is to the north, but it would be foolish to simply rush in. A guard has been posted at Cleric to keep watch over the children. Perhaps he has aught to share of their recent activity. But we must tread carefully. There is a chance we may encounter them along the way. Stay close and stay alert. I would avoid a confrontation if possible. They rejoice in dealing death to others, claiming that in doing so they cleanse their victims of sin and usher them unto the sunless sea. I would rather not sully my hands defending myself against such madmen. That makes sense. Okay, I follow. And this place is absolutely the Gridania equivalent of this world. In general look and also in, like, general geographical location on the world map. It's interesting, this is actually, so like, all of the original zones in A Realm Reborn, and Also, Heavensward to a limited extent, but much more so a Realm Reborn. They're much smaller in general, as the game was being optimized to be able to run on the PlayStation 3. And so those earlier zones are much smaller and split into smaller segments. That's why they have distinct segments for like Western Thanalan, Central Thanalan, Southern Thanalan. It's like they've split it all up. So like this is kind of a vision of what, if they were to make the Black Shroud outside Gridania today, this is probably closer to this kind of scale and look that you might be able to expect. The Shroud is much more claustrophobic and kind of just contained than this. It would be neat to see what those early zones might look like if redesigned without those past constraints. Anyway. Lahi indeed. Don't interfere with our work. Now, I really must, though. For that is my work, you see. We are at an impasse, you and I. And unfortunately for you, I'm quite tanky right now. You all right? By the blessed dark. Thank goodness you are unharmed. We would have arrived sooner, but we too had a rather unwelcome visit from the children. You are an acquaintance of Master Matoya, then. My apologies. The children have been acting strange of late, so I thought to take a closer look. I was careless. Strange? What have you seen? At first, there seemed to be nothing out of the ordinary. The usual gathering of ingredients for poisons from flora and fauna. But then I took notice of their venomous spiders. They've been breeding them in much greater numbers. It's as if they're preparing for something. Any ideas as to what? It could be anything, really. If it meant the end of the Blessed, nothing would be too cruel or violent for them. But perhaps we can use their present preoccupation with spiders to our advantage. If we were to introduce a threat to the nests where they keep them, the children would be compelled to save them. Bees, for example, are a natural predator of spiders. Set them loose on the nests, and we would have our opportunity to sneak into their encampment. What a mischievous plan. I like it. With a bit of smoke, we should be able to subdue a few colonies long enough to secure their hives. Have you anything we might be able to use? We should have smoke bombs at the outpost just over there. Then it's settled. Grab a few smoke bombs from the outpost and search about for beehives. I imagine the bees won't take too kindly to your visit, but once they're knocked out, take the beehives and bring them back here. 2 will suffice, I should think. I'm on it. Let us acquire some bees. If it's all the same to you, I'll be returning to Slitherbough. I don't want to get in the way. Stay safe, and may the shadows keep you. Same to you. All right, let's grab some smoke bombs from the storehouse in the tree. Here we are. And collect. Perfect. Bees. Who's ready for a midday nap? Please no stinging. I'm dealing with enough today. Where are you? Ah, here we go. Bees. Just be chill, all right? A handmade device crafted by the Knights Blessed to produce copious amounts of smoke. Nighty-night. Or at least, chill out. The bees begin to swarm. Bees, you're supposed... Bees. I said chill. Please calm down. Generally not the best tool for fighting bees, the great sword, but you work with what you got. And now for one more beehive. Bees, please calm down. I'm gonna take you to spiders. I'm delivering you to snacks. This is a special tier of service that few can boast having enjoyed. Anyway. Come with me. Gonna take you to a spider buffet. And you're the only one of my clientele who actually wants that, so please comply. Were you able to find any? Oh yes, bees acquired. The guard returned to Slitherbough, but not before offering his thanks. As for the beehives, Thancred and I were successful in acquiring what we need. How did you fare? I got hives and bees. For God's sake, don't let them out. This is more than enough. The children are certain to be displeased. Let us hurry before the bees begin to stir. Yes, please, I don't want this in my pocket anymore. The bag is sealed tight, but I'd rather not keep the bees buzzing about in there longer than we have to. For all our sakes, yes. Y'shtola is ready to move. Me too. The children's settlement is to the west, a place they call Woven Oath. According to the guard, there's an airway apart from the entrance which leads to the spider's nest. If the fates are kind, the way will be clear. Fingers crossed. Come on, Claude. Bees. We ride. I think we're getting close. Too many large bugs out here, for my tastes. We should move quickly, before any of the children arrive. Up there's the airway. Do you see it? A bit far, perhaps, but we should be able to toss the bag through. Though we should probably loosen the ropes keeping it closed, enough that it falls open when it lands inside. May I do the honors? Please. That should do it. Now we wait.
What is that? Bees! Spider bits, they're everywhere! Help! Someone help! We have to save the spiders!
It sounds like your plan is working. Still, it's quite likely not all were drawn away from their posts. If you should come to blows with the children, I'll see to it any signs of struggle are concealed. Failing that, I'll create a distraction to buy Y'shtola more time. Should anyone get past me, it falls to you to guard her. You got it. Your concern is appreciated, but I sincerely doubt it'll come to that. Why do I get the feeling you enjoy the idea of my loafing about bored in the shadows? Come now, Thancred. The shadows are a fitting place for a warrior of darkness. Now, if you both are ready. Yep. All set. Thanks for removing the bees. Go on. I'll be right behind you. Appreciate it. Y'shtola, wait up. Alas, once again, a modicum of stealth is required of me. And I don't know if I'm going to be up to the task. This is quite a lot of them close by. I'm going to try to just kind of sneak by really carefully. Yes, I can. So carefully. So far, so good. Kind of amazed that worked. Y'shtola, wait up. Y'shtola. I'm starting to think that maybe every single scion is sneakier than I am. Every single one. They clearly have no trouble just scooting through all this. Yep. Sneak, 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 sneak. Don't mind me. Y'shtola. Is this the place? The font of seeing suggests this is a chamber for prayer. At the very least, they would not place this near potential distractions from their worship. Perhaps the monument is further in. So we're in the right place, yes? At least it's less crowded in here. This is neat. Nothing I can easily interpret, but maybe she's better equipped. What am I saying? Of course she's better equipped. Yes, this is it. I'll be but a moment. Keep watch of the entryway. On second thought, would you mind examining the murals on these walls while I look over this? At a glance, I can tell they are old, predating the founding of the Blessed and the Children, in fact. We are not like to come here a second time. 'Twould behoove us to learn all that we can. That makes sense. I don't know what you expect me to be able to figure out, but I will try. Then what does this mean? Sorry, I won't distract you. Let's start, I guess, with this one. Examine the murals and take note of what events they may depict. You may move the camera and such. All right, let's try. So, mural number 1. Or, well, here, let's do them in order. Number 1. The mural appears to be ancient. A warrior in the middle stands triumphant over what appears to be a creature of shadow. Other figures surround the warrior, rejoicing in their victory. It's not a whole lot to go on, is it? Then we've got this one, which seems to be done in a quite different style. The mural appears to be very old. A ruler sits atop a throne, attended by their subjects. All right. And finally, this one. The mural appears to be fairly old. A knight shields himself and their comrades from an encroaching darkness. The central figure is considerably faded. That one kind of evokes our Warrior of Darkness buddies a little bit. Not sure about these other two.
These paintings, they seem familiar. Depictions of heroes throughout history. The Age of Gods, the Empire of Ronka, and this. There was a man, a researcher who pored over these pieces. He offered us work when we needed it, slaying beasts, delivering provisions. A funny old bugger he was, but he had a good heart. He believed this first painting dated back to a time of myth and legends, a tribute to the heroes of a long-forgotten era. The story went that it was rediscovered by an explorer from Ronka, who was so struck by its majesty that a second painting was commissioned, commemorating the heroes of their day. One day you will all be here too, he said. Heroes immortalized forever. Maybe I'll paint you myself? I had a good laugh at that. We were only trying to make our way after all. Being heroes couldn't have been further from our minds. But it seems he actually went and did it. Before or after the flood, I wonder. Rather faded, isn't it, compared to the others? Or did someone try to scrape it off the wall? Well, maybe the man himself once he came to his senses. Do you suppose your deeds will warrant an addition to this collection? Or some other kind of monument?
There you are. I have everything I need. Let us quit this place. Is something the matter? We should go. The others are waiting.
Lahi. Huh. Already got us out. Appreciate it. Good to see my distraction proved successful. It sure did. I believe I now have everything needed to finish deciphering the tablet. Tell me, Derman, did the murals appear to be of any significance? Sort of. Depictions of heroes, from the age of gods, the Ronkan Empire, and immediately before the Flood. Very astute observations. Perhaps in another lifetime you could be a curator of antiquities. Though it has no bearing on the task at hand, perhaps that knowledge may prove to be of use in the future. Maybe so. I don't know, I enjoyed it. Right, yes. Ystola's thirst for knowledge sated, she seems content to return to Slitherbough. Let us hurry to Slitherbough. The others are waiting. After we've returned, the two of you should rest a while. No doubt Renar will be eager to have you sample his cooking. As soon as I discover anything of import, you will be the first to know. Sounds good. I would not mind sampling the local foods. I return, gang. Anyone else hungry? Welcome back, Derman. Now that you're here, there's something I want to ask you. Urianger told me that Thancred was something of a rogue in the past. As a wolf among sheep, he said. What did he mean by that? Do you know? Well... Definitely going to be having a word with Urianger later. You know, Menphilia, I have no idea. Urianger says strange things all the time. I would not worry about it. Renar, let's hastily change the subject. Derman, the guard told me you left with Master Matoya to Woven Oath. And no sooner do you return than she locks herself away in her chambers without so much as a word. She knows how I worry when she leaves without me. But she is safe, and that is all that matters. You must be hungry after such a journey. Why not have a seat there by the fire? The stew will soon be ready. I'd love that. I'll just park over here and wait for the foods. Love a good campfire.
Strange. The others on patrol should have returned by now. Our food will be overcooked if we wait any longer. We will just have to start without them. Would you call Master Matoya and the others?
Yep, you got it. Just a sec. Hey guys, dinner!
I tire of these games, Urianger. Why do you pretend you cannot see it? The blessing may spare him the fate of becoming a Light Warden. But you cannot be blind to the nascent corruption. He is not as he was in the Source. Though I have no proof, I fear that the light which poured forth from the Wardens was not negated at all. I fear it was absorbed, that he has been suffused with their light.
Though I have given thought to this possibility, I dare not speak until more is known.
By the time you deign to enlighten us, it may be too late, if it is not already. Urianger, I know full well, after all these years, that you have only the best of intentions. But that does not make it any easier to put my faith in a man so infatuated with secrecy. I have had my suspicions ever since the Exarch bade you speak that day. But now I must ask. The 8th Umbral Calamity and all that followed. Everything you claim to have seen. Did you?
Help! Someone help! The Umorans have come for us! We're under attack!
Meanwhile, in Yulmore,
Lord Forthry, how good it is to see you. How long has it been? Not since your inauguration, unless I'm mistaken. Too long, at any rate. May I say, how humbled I am to be invited not only into your city, but your home. You are as generous as ever.
And you as disingenuous. Let us dispense with the pleasantries. This merry band of dissidents people are calling Warriors of Darkness. They have slain Sin-Eaters, and by all accounts the Crystarium is complicit in their villainy. And now I hear reports of your people obstructing my soldiers, so I must ask, what exactly do you think you are doing?
I might ask you the same thing. It should be clear, even to you, that defeating the Light Wardens represents the world's only hope of survival. Even now, the people of Lakeland and Ilmeg rejoice in the return of night. For 100 years, they yearned for a means to fight back against the Sin-Eaters, and at last they have found one. Yet you choose to stand idly by and do nothing. Why?
Why? Because this hope you cling to is nothing more than a fever dream, an exercise in futility. Even should you slay the Sin-Eaters, the world as we know it is beyond salvation. With what little land and resources remain, the people would be free only to starve. Before long, they would turn to violence, then to war, and ultimately usher themselves unto oblivion. They require a firm hand to shepherd them from the edge. The hand of a king, nay, a god. I will see their dreams fulfilled, their wishes granted. I will give them peace, order, and they shall never want for bliss. Men are fickle creatures who entertain vague ideals without the faintest notion what they cost. But a little fear can go a long way towards helping them realize what it is they truly need. Sanctuary. And they shall find none in this world save that which I afford them. That is why the Sin-Eaters exist. To unite the world under my dominion.
A paradise fit to grace the 8th Umbral era.
What was that?
A minor epiphany, nothing more. You have always held sway over those around you. Those who defy you must submit or die. What sits before me is the inevitable result of bloated privilege and unchecked power. But man is more resilient than you think. His achievements are not the product of violence and bloodshed, but compassion and understanding. This calamity is but another crisis to be overcome, and we will, once we eliminate the Sin Eaters.
You poor deluded fool. These people care not for the morrow. They care only for the now, and the contentment they lack. What good is a paradise to them if it is 1,000 years in the making, or even 100?
You underestimate them, Lord Vorthry. They see further than you think. I have beheld it in the blood and sweat and tears of those who would sacrifice everything for a future they may never know, that their children may never know. I have beheld it in the hopes and dreams of those who came before, which we bequeath to those who come after, that they might in turn build upon the foundations laid by our forebears. These are the bonds which hold man and his world together, not your gilded chains, and I will resist your every effort to shackle him.
In summary, you will continue to support the villains hunting my Sin Eaters?
With tremendous enthusiasm, for I have faith in the future they would build.
Why do I even bother? Fools, the lot of you! So naive! So painfully predictable! Did you imagine I did not know your mind? That I would wait until after this meeting to dispatch my forces? Even as we speak, they march to the Sin Eaters' defense. Insurrection will not be tolerated! The people of this world are mine to rule, mine to command. And you are no exception! What? How did he... Insolent swine! I will not stand for this! Do you hear me?
You speak for the Knights Blessed?
I do. I presume that is your doing. If you have come to parley, I must insist that you first return him to us.
You're in no position to make demands.
By Lord Vorthry's decree, Rak'tika now falls under the governance of Yulmore. You will henceforth answer to us.
Is that so? And the children of the Everlasting Dark have acquiesced to this madness?
We have reached an accord, yes. Too many times have the Knights Blessed shunned Yulmore's overtures of friendship. The risk that you harbor hostile intentions has grown too great to ignore. Therefore, his lordship has claimed dominion over this forest and bestowed executive authority upon the children of the Everlasting Dark.
In his wisdom, Lord Vorthry has agreed to recognize ours as the only permissible expression of dark worship. It's one true faith. You and your false creed are a blight on these woods. A foul, unholy corruption that must be cleansed. Little wonder the Warrior of Darkness visits both Lakeland and Ilmeg, yet shuns Rak'tika. Your perverted teachings hold blessed Shadow at bay.
You have accepted the yoke of Yulmore to spite us, then? Fools. Darkness will never return to these skies while they hold sway.
Those of you minded to obey his lordship are to make for Woven Oath with all haste. We will leave you, that you may have time to prepare.
Woven Oath? Are you suggesting we abandon our faith to join those zealots?
What has your faith afforded you thus far? Nothing! We will guide you along the righteous path.
And should we refuse?
Anyone found here upon our return will be considered a traitor to Yulmore, and dealt with as such.
We will discuss these developments after I have tended to our casualty.
Alas, no dinner for us. That Yulmore has gained a foothold here in these woods bodes ill for the Knights Blessed. Surely there's something we can do to help the Knights Blessed, isn't there? I'm hoping that smarties in our group here can come up with something. I'm not usually the thinker of the group. The guard hath been afflicted with the most terrible and efficacious poison. We have attempted all manner of healing incantations. Alas, his condition remains unchanged. At present, we can but slow the poison's advance. I pray it will afford us sufficient time to find a cure. I hope that as well. And I know it's a bit of a tense time, but I think we're going to have to call it for today. I will see you all next week for some more Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. Take care, have a good weekend, and goodbye!